Hey, yo, you like music? I don't even know why I asked that. Of course you do. That's why you here. Let me talk to you about this fire album real quick. Come on, kick it with Kyle. For another episode of Music Mondays, where we just talk about a great album that we like. That's one of our favorites, and we could not do this without talking about the album that literally came out last week. I don't know when you're watching this, but it came out on October 23rd, 2020. Immediately has become a favorite album of so many people. I'm talking about the album that you see. The album that you see right here. Rich Tolbert, Never Defeated. Rich Tolbert Jr., Never Defeated. Amazing album. It only has 11 songs. Quick listen, short listen, but it is dope. It is dope. And this is the album I think that you guys should listen to this week. If you haven't already listened to it, this needs to be the soundtrack of this week. And so we have some folk with us who are not strangers. We got Meshach, we got Janelle in here. And so we going to start with our top 5 songs. That's really what this is. We give you our top 5 songs on the album. They're going to be different depending on who's saying it, but we want to give our top 5 songs in our particular order that we think you should listen to. All right, so we're gonna start with Janelle. What's your number one song off this album?
So my number one song is "I'm Alive," and I would quickly follow that with that as number 2, "I'm Alive" reprise. And I think that is my top one because he speaks so clearly to this aspect of mental health that for a while was seen as taboo within the church, which is, being so depressed that you want to commit suicide. And I think that he speaks so profoundly and so timely to the fact of, there are so many people walking around who are almost suicide survivors, who wanted to, but they didn't. And he is literally declaring that, it was by God's grace that you made it here. Yeah. And I think that's something that from a platform we need to, honor, and we need to, praise, because, they're still here. And I think by him making a song to talk about that was beautiful to me. And that also was just very on point and timely.
Man, listen, when I look at the whole album, I don't listen to albums just out of context. I have to listen to number 1 all the way down. I really don't have a favorite, but if I was to choose, it would be the opening one. Crown Him takes me all the way into worship. It sets the tone for the album. And just to be able just to know that it's a hymn and how they, I'm big on harmonies and also transitions within the album. And so Crown Him sets the tone. And so that's my number 1, hands down.
I'm gonna follow that with kind of what Janelle said. For me, the first song that I listened to on the album was "I'm Alive." That was the song that I listened to because I had heard it previously, and so I listened to it, and I gotta put the reprise in my number 1 as well. You can't have one without the other to me. So that's my number 1. "I'm Alive," and the reason is just it's so simple, but it means so much.
Okay, so my number 2 would definitely be "Crown Him." And I love "Crown Him" because it sounds like a hymn. It is a relevant hymn for right now. We are so used to the hymns that were written in the 1800s, early 1900s, but do we have a hymn that speaks to right now? And I think just the orchestration of the song, the lyrics of the song, they all speak to, the hymn structure, but it uses language from right now. And I think it sets the tone for the album of just this is a powerful God who can help us to never be defeated. So I think "Crown Him" really sets the tone of the album, and I think it just pulls you in.
Man, my number 2, if I was to look at the album again, is, you guys said it's "I'm Alive." I just have it switched around with the reprise. I mean, listen, the whole thing is just fire, man. When "I'm Alive," you guys already spoke to it. It's a constant reminder that we're alive because of him, literally. And so when we come to this album, definitely Crown Him for me is number 1. Number 2 is "I'm Alive."
No, my number 2 is "Crown Him." Listen, I listened to "I'm Alive" for a whole day, and then I saw Meshach tweet about "Crown Him." I hadn't even moved from "I'm Alive." Like "I'm Alive" in the reprise. And I was like, let me go check out Crown Him. And like immediately I was just like, oh my gosh. Now listen, guys, I'm not a hymn guy. Like I'm not I want to hear a good hymn. Like that's not me. But this thing is fire. And like it, as it was said before, for me, it literally allowed me to like visualize how great God is.
So my number 3 is the Jesus Thomas Clay tribute. So I loved the sound of Thomas Clay, and I loved how it sounded like, it sounded heavenly. It sounded far away. It sounded big, and it sounded encompassing. And I think, that Rich did a great job of demonstrating that in this song. And it actually made me feel as though I was like, before the heavenly court, that I was right there with Jesus. And I felt like, man, I am in this heavenly zone. So I think for me, that song did a great job of sounding so different that if you suddenly found yourself just going through the lull of listening to the album, that song woke you up and almost pulled you in to say, pay attention.
Yeah, my third favorite on the album, it would have to be He's in Control. Just the way it starts, Sovereign God. So, me and my kids have been listening to it this week, and just knowing, it says it in the title. That's the thing about this album, right? Like, as deep as you want it to be, but also as simple as it is what makes this album great for me. So like He's in Control, just knowing that, and the way that he sets it up from the beginning, the musicality through it all, I just enjoy it. He's in Control.
So my third, and I think this is where we all kind of branching out to our own thing, right? My third, and I'm gonna put the reprise right with it. So this is 3, is Get the Glory and Get the Glory reprise. That is my number 3. Again, it's so simple, but like, and really I like the reprise almost more than I like the song. But just he'll find a way. So he'll find a way to get the glory. Like that is, again, just kind of like puts it in perspective for me. Like no matter what I'm going through, like God is going to figure out a way to get like the glory in this situation. So my third would be Get the Glory, and Get the Glory reprise right there.
Never Be Defeated. Like that song, when I first heard it by itself, because he dropped that song before he dropped the album, that song literally makes me feel like if I was doubting God, I quickly need to stop. Because God hasn't been defeated before, he won't be defeated now, and he certainly won't be defeated in time to come. So that song for me it's like a perfect declaration and like a perfect reminder that like he is God. And he will never be defeated.
So I'm with you now. I'm following it, but I'm going to attach the reprise with my 4th favorite one on this album. Just because I like how he sets it up. Like he's taking us all the way in with the Never Be Defeated. But when you listen to the reprise, it's just all the instruments drop and it's just voices. And that to me, it continues to drive my soul, like to be encouraged, like exactly what Janelle was saying. Like there's no way, knowing that God is the greatest power, that we shall never ever be defeated.
My number 4 is He's in Control. Like when they break that thing down, after they get past the verses, it's just a whole, it's like, it's a fun song, it's a whole vibe, but it is also just repeating the fact that like, again, whatever you're going through, God is in control. I like the fact that like this is a cohesive album. Like every song fits the idea that like we will never be defeated. Why? Because I'm alive. We'll never be defeated because he's in control. Never be defeated because he's a miracle worker. Like there's so many things here that just kind of show you like this is why we'll never be defeated.
So He's in Control would actually be my 5th song. Like I appreciate how He's in Control. It is a fun song, like how it feels. Like it's a fun song, and it also is like that attention grabber as well. To remind you, like, yo, if you're over here worrying about X, Y, and Z, may you remember he's in control. And when they have that breakdown, my goodness, like you literally feel as though they're stomping on the stage, and you feel that vibration like as you're listening to the song. And it's just like, yo, if I really didn't think God was in control, you surely stopped enough as you sang this to make me believe it.
Yeah, my number 5 on this album has to be Isn't He Beautiful? Just the breakdown of it all, the musicality of it all, the lyrics. It's just a fun song. And man, listen, those are shouting shoes at the end when they go into the praise break. And I just appreciate Isn't He Beautiful? I mean, just that's just what it is.
Before I give you my 5, one thing that I thought was cool about Isn't He Beautiful is like that's actually the first time I've heard in a song somebody describe God as a person of color. Like that's the first time I've ever heard someone describe God as a person of color. My five is Never Be Defeated. And okay, so by now you guys are gonna figure out like I'm a sucker for a reprise. A good reprise. I like a reprise almost sometimes better than the song. Never Be Defeated reprise for me. Shaq said when they slow the song down, when the music drops out, they slow the song down. And for some reason, it hit me. It hit me like, yo, I'm never gonna be defeated. Like, because God is a great, like, they've said it already for 4 minutes. And they said it for about 2.5. But when they drop off, the music slows down, never be defeated. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so that is my five. Did we do five already? Everybody did five?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did five. Cool. So, all right, man. Listen, Music Mondays. Go check this. I keep doing that. Go check this album out. Rich Tolbert, Never Be Defeated. It's on iTunes, Spotify, Tidal. Go buy it, support it, stream it, whatever you do. You need to listen to this album. This is a great album for you, and hopefully it blesses you this week. Check us back next Monday for another one.